Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bite-Sized Review. This is your home for reviews and opinions on the super niche, obscure, sometimes outright awful games on the Nintendo Switch. With that out of the way, here's our host, Sean Ryan.
Hello, everyone. This is Bite-Sized Review, and with that, we'll kick off episode 0. The first review goes to a game called Destropolis, developed by Igor Games and published by No Gravity Games. Destropolis is an arcade-style shooter similar in vein to Robotron and Smash TV, but with RPG mechanics that provide the player with necessary upgrades to defeat the endless hordes of cube-shaped enemies. From the moment you press start, your character is met with slow-moving, red objects that weave in and out of the city in a constant pursuit to overwhelm and kill you. With no story element, Destropolis relies entirely on its gameplay to keep the player involved, and while the action is fun, there are some roadblocks that prevent the game from standing alongside its forefathers. Visually, the world is a lackluster white and gray hue, with the only other splashes of color belonging to your character, the enemies, and power-ups. This may have been a design choice to locate your character as the game progresses and the enemy becomes so numerous that it would be difficult or otherwise impossible to see where your character is. But for me, with such bland environment, I was bored of looking at it after only a few minutes. While the buildings within the city are randomly generated, I was disappointed to find out the entire city doesn't stretch on into infinity with more procedurally generated and destructible buildings. Instead, there are defined edges where an invisible wall prevents you from going any further. With the enemy numbers endlessly increasing, I was hoping the city would as well, so you can't ever be trapped in a corner. As you kill enemies, you build up points that will level up the player at specific intervals. This is where the RPG mechanics come into play. After leveling up, the game will freeze, and a menu will pop up granting you one of 4 upgrades to choose from. These upgrades vary from double damage, double points, increased speed, or providing you with your favorite weapon more often, as well as several other variants. At the beginning, these upgrades aren't very necessary against the enemy, as you can take them out with your basic pistol, but while progressing, you will see this menu more and more and more. While it's fun and exciting to try out all these new upgrades, the frequency of these pop-up menus doesn't just bend, but completely breaks the flow of gameplay. Destropolis is a fast and intense arcade shooter, but constantly having to stop or slow down really hurts the immersion. But once you make your choice of upgrades, you are thrown right back into the action. Considerably less intrusive than leveling up, perks are bonuses that appear as giant gold columns with a description written on the side. Assuming the player can reach these power-ups, the player is rewarded with nukes, airstrikes, automatic mini turrets, as well as several other rewards. Unfortunately, they aren't all great. As previously mentioned, this is a fast-paced game, and getting the bullet time perk slows it down to literal crawl, which is sometimes made worse by another level bonus that increases the length of these perks. While playing, you'll see other columns with new and different weapon names that grant the player with a much more deadly arsenal than the default pistol. From shotguns to gauze guns to lasers, there are a lot of different ways that the player can decide exactly how they plan on battling the ever-moving sea of red enemies. One major highlight for me was the music. Credited to Luke Hash, the intense chiptune and synth really complements the actions on screen and kept me amped up. That is, until I leveled up again and the game all but stopped while I had an unlimited amount of time to make my choices about my character. While multiplayer co-op to up to 3 additional players is an option, I didn't have a chance to try it out. But I can only imagine that everything you experience in a single player session is doubled or tripled, and that can only slow the game down more so. Despite what may sound like a poor review, I did enjoy the game. With online leaderboards and a near infinite way to upgrade your character, the replayability is very high, and overall, I would recommend this to anyone who wants to enjoy some mindless fun or needs a palate cleanser. All in all, I would give this game 6 out of 10 bites. And a quick disclaimer before we wrap this up. This review is not a paid endorsement, and I did not receive a free code for this game. And that concludes episode 0. Until next time, this has been Sean Ryan with Bite-Sized Review.